If you have cabinetry that is in this color and you're not sure what to do, this is probably not a good choice. So for my money, I would rather do something like this that's polished in a cool color so it stands out. One of the things that we've noticed is that people tend to react to color more than they react to anything else. So you have landed on the last in a series called Mad About Hue. This is our last episode where we are talking about how to wrap up all your color and all your items together and make it work for your own home or your own space. Of course, we would appreciate it if you subscribe, but if you just want to let us know whether you like something, just give it a like instead. Let's talk how we are going to take color and make it work for us in our own home. The thing that I notice is that when people either feel very comfortable with color and commenting or do not comment at all because they just really don't know. But it is something that most people, when they walk into a room, will react and look at a color and say, hey, I'm not sure I like this color. Even though the space may be great or not great, that is something that they see more than anything else. Let's start with one of the most challenging things that people write to us about all the time, which is the color of their hardwood floors. The color I have here is, I think, actually a beautiful color, but lots of people have a version of this that's maybe not quite as nice that they got maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and it's fondly remembered as honey oak or golden oak. My particular sample here is very nice because it's a matte finish, but lots of people have a high gloss finish, and over time it may have yellowed even further. And most people say, well, should we rip it out or can we work with it? Now, if you have lots of budget and bandwidth, you can of course rip it out and do something different. But for a lot of people, they're like, ew, we gotta work with it. What can we do? I think that beige is a really tough sell when you have a really strong floor like this. So if you have golden oak flooring and you put beige with it, it tends not to look great because they're both kind of neutral in the sense that they're about the same tone. And really the honey oak, especially if the honey oak is super dominant, it will make the beige just look insipid, like washed out. It won't give it enough energy. So when you have such a strong element, whether it is a floor or anything else for that matter, if it's really dominant, sometimes you need other dominant things to work with it to create balance. So I'm going to suggest with something like this, if you really want to make it look good and you want to update it, you try black, adding black to it. So you can see here, I have two dominant things, but they balance each other because they're strong enough that they each have equal billing. And that's kind of what you want to get to. The other element you can add to this, of course, is white, and white helps to settle down all that wood. So if you have a wood ceiling that's honey oak or any version of your wood trim, and you really want to get it to feel a little bit more updated, fresher, a little less yellow, add in white and add in black. And they just happen to be really strong trends right now. So you can see that there's lots of stuff in the marketplace that works with what you already have. So go for it. It will look really good. If you have cabinetry that is in this color and you're not sure what to do, this is probably not a good choice. Gold hardware on light oak, honey oak, golden oak cabinets doesn't look that great. And it doesn't look that great because it's kind of the same color, but a different tone, and it just looks a little bit off. So for my money, I would rather do something like this that's polished in a cool color so it stands out, or black, again, to balance, let's say, our countertop, and it's got just a much stronger dominant look on the cabinet. So for me, this would be my choice. And what that will do is take your eye and away from the honey oak and look more at the contrast and less at the color. That's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to increase our contrast so that it looks better, and that's what we see in the end. Humans see by two ways. They see with color and they see with contrast, and the contrast one is what we really want to get to in this case. So do not fret if you have this. Definitely we can work with it with today's trends. What if one of the colors that you have on your floor or in one of your spaces, you guys happen to have this, which is a really nice warm wood color. And I do want to say colors like this are classic. They are not going out of style. They may not be gray right now, but that doesn't mean I can't put gray with something like this. For instance, I could easily, I'm just using this here, I could easily put a gray charcoal with this and it would look very nice. Even a blue based charcoal would look very good with this. And the reason I say that is because This has got a little tiny bit of a warm or orange undertone. If you watched our series about the color wheel way back, you'll know that one of the things I said, when you take orange and you add blue to it or black, whichever one you want, it actually turns orange brown. So in a weird way, it's very hard to make orange cool. This is as cool as you'll get. So you end up with a wood tone that's just darker and warmer. So that's why it's a really great color, and you don't have to totally rip it out if you're worried about it. It actually goes really nicely with those blue-based charcoals. I'm gonna show you some here. Ignore that I have green there. This is my color on here, a nice charcoal, or even this one from Benjamin Moore. I think that's called, oh yeah, Overcoat. Really great with those deep browns. But if you want to give it a different feel, this is where our beige works really well, because again, we're increasing our contrast. Now, we don't always have to do this, but this helps beige not look bland, which I think is what a lot of people object to with beige, because it was so overdone in the 90s that no one really saw it for a color anymore. It just became background. But this is kind of nice because it's got our wonderful charcoal in there. We take that, and again, if you have cabinetry in this color, you add a polished nickel or even a chrome, and you're gonna get a beautiful look to it. Last but not least, let me show you this floor. This floor is our grayed out floor, been very popular in the last few years, and I'll just show you here with contrast, looks beautiful. So again, if I add my white to it, or I add my black, it's great. I could even add something like this that has terracotta, because this would look beautiful with terracotta. And let me just show you one other thing. Haha, this is a cabinet and you want to add in terracotta in hardware. I'm just going to show this to you here. I have my copper that just looks beautiful with it. So that would be orange, terracottas. So it's very possible to do this. The other thing to keep in mind, of course, because this is blue-based or cool, remember the colors on the color wheel, it's opposite orange, so it's gonna look really good. The other thing you could consider is adding in gold. So if you have any of those light grays and they're looking a little too washed out or they don't look warm enough, add gold to it. So in this case, adding the gold onto that surface, they are opposite each other on the color wheel, and again, you're gonna get more intensity from that. If you want it to blend in, then you might do something cooler. Remember, analogous colors, colors that are side by side. This is a cool metal. It's really a gray, and I'm putting a gray over top of another gray. So it means that they blend in. So you can see you can easily make this work and all tie together. I'm gonna take the beige for a minute and just throw it on here. So what's interesting about this is if you want a space that does not have a lot of contrast, or it's not as energized, which is what contrast gives you, then pick colors that are all very similar in brightness. So light beige, light gray, light beige will blend in, and then add a little bit of accent like a charcoal or a black that will give you the energy where you need it. So tying it together with today's trends is absolutely very doable. What you want to think about though is going back to those basics. I hate to tell you this, but yes, you may need a color wheel or a color consultant. That also helps, so that you can see how colors can layer on top of each other and all the tones make sense. Thank you so much for joining me in this series called Mad About Hue. We really enjoyed putting it together, and each episode is meant to build on the next one. Now, I realize I probably have not answered all the questions you may have, so we're ready. Write in. If nothing else, let us know if we gave you some information that is valuable. I look forward to hearing from you all, and thanks so much for watching.